everyone. My name is Tanae Costley, host of Real Talk Business and Motivation, and I am finally back with another episode. I'm super excited tonight because I'm bringing on a very special guest, and we will be doing an overview of the four pillars of social media. So I'm pretty sure if you're tuning in right now, you're probably wondering, what are the four pillars of social media and who is this special guest? So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on the screen to introduce herself.
Hello, pretty people. Hello, pretty people. Hashtag pretty people. All the pretty people are here. Say hi to Jerusha. And so do me a favor, hashtag pretty people. We crown our queens over here. We celebrate, collaborate, and create great relationships. So those are the pretty people. So if you are a pretty person, put pretty people. Yes. And so let me tell you who I am. First of all, thank you so much, Miss Tanae Costley. Yes, I'm in the building with her. I appreciate you. I love what you're doing on your show. And so I'm so happy to be in your company. And so a little about me. I'm Jerusha Wiggins, motivational speaker, radio personality, business coach. My background is actually in radio and television. I worked for CNN News here in Atlanta, Georgia, prior to starting my own home-based business. And so my biggest thing is I love to talk. And I've always said I'm going to get paid to talk. And so that's why I went into radio and television. And so the first person that spoke to me actually about a home-based business, network marketing, direct sales, I was like, okay, yes, what is it? I had no clue. And so once I learned that industry, I'm very grateful. I've earned countless awards, cards, crowns, diamonds, on-stage recognition, ranked #1 for developing the most women entrepreneurs in a single year. And so I was able to build my business successfully in 8 months with my full-time job. My son was a toddler at the time. And so all the moms, we can do it. You can do it. Now, was it challenging? Absolutely. Was it worth it? Absolutely. And so I built my business initially offline. And I like to tell people that because I was the presentations face-to-face, hotel conference rooms. I had an office here in Atlanta. So I was face-to-face, belly-to-belly, building my business away from home, but it was a home-based business. So it wasn't until 2017, 2018, I got online. And so it was a different baby for me. I was like, what are people doing online? And so I got online and I was very surprised to see how you could actually monetize on social media. So I saw a lot of people posting and praying, and I was like, there has to be a better strategy. And so after making several mistakes like everybody else for a couple of years, 2017, 2018, I created my marketing strategy by 2019. And guess what happened in 2020? Exactly, the pandemic. And so I am fortunate that I did better in 2020 than 2019 in my business, which led me to create my own signature course, the 3-day ride, where I actually teach people how to market themselves, how to brand themselves, how to find their ideal prospect, and stop posting and praying. And not only that, how to create relationships, because a business is about the people. And so stop being interested and be interesting in people, and you'll have a bigger business. So I teach how to create, content, how to converse, and how to convert those people into a client or in your organization or, offering your services, whatever it is. And so I've just been excited about this journey. So that's where we are today. And so I wanted to talk tonight about the 4 pillars of social media that I've learned. And so, Ms. Tanae, do you want me to keep going, or do you have a question in this part, or do I just keep going?
Well, you just covered so much in just that short amount of time, but I don't want people to miss the backstory because you were in the corporate world just like myself, but mainly, particularly, what were you doing and what made you take that leap of faith into entrepreneurship?
Great question. So I loved I was in radio and television. I got my first radio job on air. It was an internship in North Carolina. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do for life. And then I got an opportunity to move to Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, to work at a radio station here. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to work for CNN News. I want to work in television. And so I worked for CW first, and then I worked for CNN. So I was the liaison between sales and the producers. And so I enjoyed that and was in radio. And so I had a morning show early part of 2000. And I had a morning show here in Atlanta, a gospel station. And so it wasn't until working for CNN News, enjoyed the industry, I decided I wanted to get married, had my son. I was like, he had a lot of complications. He was a preemie. When I say a lot of complications, a lot of complications. And so if you work in corporate America, you only have a little 8 weeks. And he was in the hospital for the 8 weeks because he was a preemie and he was not doing well. And so by the time it was time for him to come home, guess what? I needed to go back to work. And so I was like, oh, this is not going to work. And so I was like, what else can I do? Well, I still had to go back to work. And I said to myself, I got to find something else because I need time freedom. It wasn't so much, money is great, but it was the time. And so by the time he was 1, he wasn't walking, he wasn't crawling, he wasn't doing the things. And I was like, I got to get home. How is it that I can get home? And so that's why I know people don't talk to everybody about their businesses and about their industries, because the first person that spoke to me and they said that I could work from home, you could have time freedom, you could have financial freedom, I was like, what's the opportunity? And so when she told me the opportunity, I was like, okay, sounds like something I can do. And so I got started, and in 8 months, I was in the top 2% of that company and earned all the things. And so I was like, okay, eventually I'm going to transition out. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to lay CNN News off years ago. And so my son, I was able to get down on the floor with him and like, let's crawl, let's and not feel pressured that I have to get to someone's job. And so I can relate to all the moms that want to put their families first. And in my situation, I chose to do that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it work. I wasn't the person that said I just want to do it. I was willing to do it.
Right. And I just want to commend you for that, because it takes a different type of faith to be able to leave your corporate job. I recently came up on my 1 year quit my job anniversary just last week. So 4/26/2021 was the day I decided to leave the corporate industry, and I was in IT and finance, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just so unfulfilled. And then on my end, I'm a mother too. But I wear many hats, so I do it all by myself, and it was just a lot to have to work a 9 to 5, and then my son needed additional support in school at the time, and I was stretching myself so freaking thin, and I didn't even like my job anyway. And I'm like, why am I putting myself through all of this when I don't even want to be here? This is not what my purpose is. This is not what I'm called to do. I'm meant to do so much more. So let me just stop prolonging my destiny and just take that leap of faith, for I can position myself to do what I want to do.
I love it.
Not working for someone else. That was
Right.
never. I don't feel like God made me to work for someone else. I really don't. So I was just really curious to hear like your background story, because I think a lot of times that is what motivates others to take that leap of faith. And just hearing that you were successful in your career and you still was able to fire your job, fire your boss. That is just amazing. So.
Yeah, and you've heard people say if your why is big enough or your reason is big enough. And my why made me cry. And when I thought about, him being, CNN did have a daycare and all the things, but when I thought about, him being at the daycare and, having his first birthday or a second birthday, and I'm not there like I want to be. And, the therapist only came 3 times a week, but he needs therapy every day. And so that was more than enough reason for me to be like, I don't care what I need to do. As long as it's legal, I'm doing it. Right. And so that was kind of, I'm in Atlanta. I said, well, I can go strip, but that's not what I want to do. I'm just joking. I was like, yeah, that's not what I want to do. But I really needed to make that schedule work for him. And so it was scary. I don't tell people that it was easy. I don't tell people, that they should do it. You should be in a position financially where you can transition easily. Because you don't want to do that and struggle, because now that's added stress. So I was in a position where I was like, okay, I could make this transition and we're going to run.
Yeah, I would definitely, I don't know if I would suggest, well, no, I can't really suggest doing what I did, because I wasn't necessarily financially set. I was doing my business part time, but it wasn't to the point where it was supplementing my income. But I just reached a point in like my journey where I just knew, like, all right, time is money. I'm not going to be able to really scale my business if I'm giving my corporate 9 to 5, yeah, my corporate job, freaking 8 hours of my day. It just wasn't going to happen with everything else I had going on. So I feel like I was like, all right, I'm put in between a rock and a hard place. I'm always that type of person that just strives on like stability. I just need to know to feel secure. So it's like the scariest thing I ever did, but
Scary.
I knew I was supposed to do it that way, which I don't recommend because it causes a lot of stress.
It does.
Especially if you don't have like that faith really to compensate. You don't have that faith, that drive, that vision, or sort of a plan. Because I might didn't have the money in my bank account, but I definitely had a plan, and I
Right.
just knew my time was money, and I
Right.
just couldn't do both the way I wanted to accelerate. Yeah, at that rate, I would say so. It's crazy because I hear it from your point of view, and then I'm just like, well, what the hell? I just had to do it, but I don't recommend it for everyone. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. But if you are just tuning in, I have Jerusha here. Am I pronouncing it right? I'm pronouncing it right, right? Not sure if she's going out, but I have her here. She is a motivational speaker. She is a radio personality. She has a podcast. She's an entrepreneur. She's pretty much a jack of
Did we
many
cut
trades.
out?
Yeah, you cut out for 1 second, but we're good. So, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. As usual, we'll be opening up for a live Q&A at the end. But today we are here to go over an overview of the 4 pillars of social media. So, without further ado, please tell us about these 4 pillars, because I'm just curious to know what are the 4 pillars that you have consistently been able to build your business on in order to grow and get clientele. I think we having technical difficulties, but it is totally okay. Right now, I would like to give some
Okay.
real.
Can you see me and hear me? For some reason, I feel like we're going in and out.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah, you're back. You're not
Okay.
as clear, but you're good. I can hear you and we can see
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So you want to know the 4 pillars that has helped me online?
Yes.
Okay. Because it went in and out. So I apologize. So yes. Interesting. I am the person, I like to tell people I was hesitant to go online because I had already seen a certain level of success offline. So that's why I teach online and offline strategies. And so I was like, well, I've already done it offline. But I saw that there was a trend and a change of people going online doing some major things. And so I got on what I consider late, which was 2017, 2018. And so I was like, oh, people are already doing it. And so once I got on here, I realized I need to be in courses and masterminds and figure out how to market and brand myself. And so people buy people. And that's the biggest lesson that I've learned is market and brand yourself, so much so that people are attracted to what you are doing. And so when they're attracted to what you're doing, it's easy to start private conversations. And so for me, I'm like, the money is made in Messenger. The conversations are built in Messenger. The relationships are in Messenger. And so how can I post in a way that I'm not posting and praying, begging people, running behind people? What is it that I need to put out in terms of content? So people are asking me, well, what is it that you do? Well, what's your business? What's your program? What's your services? What's your course? All the things. And so the 4 pillars that I've learned is, I call them the 4 E's. Okay, a pretty person will write this down. I call it the 4 E's. You want to make sure that in your content, you're entertaining. That's the first E. So you're ejecting a bit of humor into your post. So whether it's Reels or TikToks and family fun activities, but it has to be entertaining, because people come to social media to be social. They actually don't come to purchase. They don't come with credit card in hand. They go to Amazon for that. So on social media, when you open up your phone, you want to get a giggle. You want to see what's going on. So that's entertaining for you. So you're kind of wasting, most people are just like wasting time scrolling. and you want them to stop the scroll. And so that's what I call it in my 3-day ride course is you want people to stop the scroll when they see you like, oh, that's her. And you become this person, right, that shows up in their feed because they stop the scroll and the algorithm remembers even 7 to 10 seconds, oh, you liked it. So I'm going to show it to you again. And most people don't know that. And so you want to make sure whatever content that you're putting out, it is in some way entertaining and it has to be for somebody else, not you. And so what I learned was deposit into social media so I can get a withdrawal. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I always tell people like the majority of your content needs to be entertainment and educational. It shouldn't be sales driven because a lot of times people get on TikTok or Reels and they are entrepreneurs, so they have a business and they want to get more clients or they want to get more sales, and they're going into it with a mindset of sell, sell, sell. Please buy this, and it's like no. I know personally when I get on social media, I want to see funny stuff. I want to see stuff that makes me laugh. I want to see stuff that's positive, that motivates me, or that I can learn something from, that really teaches me, adds value in some type of way. So I always say entertainment is necessary, especially when it comes to this reel gang. I mean, if you want people to view your reels, there needs to be some type of entertainment, whether it's funny or your wig is falling off.
Right.
Keep people's attention.
Right. You got to stop the scroll. The name of the game is stopping the scroll. So that was my next one. My next E is educate.
Okay.
Valuable information to your clients. So valuable information to your clients that helps them understand what you offer. And so you don't come to social media, like I said, purchase my Tupperware, that's actually going to make people, you're going to repel people. But if you educate people, right, and you go with the intentions of educating, people are naturally going to say, well, how can I buy it? And so I've just learned that, you educate every time you come on with the entertainment. I call it entertainment because you're training and entertaining at the same time. So you're entertaining people. And then one that really has worked well for me, if anybody follows me, mine is empowerment. That's the next E. My goal is to empower people. And so sometimes, people are going through things and they need just that word of advice. So they need that type of motivation. And so that's more of my lane: motivation, inspiration, and business tips. And so empower means to encourage others, encourage your team if you're on a team, encourage, customers, clients, and incorporating, some type of engagement with them, which is the next one. And you highlight people. Most people don't highlight other people. And so like even today when I went live, I was like, make sure you follow Tanae Costley. Yes, she has a great show, Real Talk, Business and Motivation. You want to celebrate other people because what God has for her is for her. And what God has for me is for me. And so when you empower other people, what happens?
You empower yourself.
That's right.
And you also, because just a sidebar, I always feel like it's important to motivate others. So one of the things that drawn me into you is that I was like, okay, like we have like the same niche as far as the business and motivation. And then of course, if you get on one of your lives, your energy is always bubbly. You can tell you're just a very friendly person and people person. Like I can tell this is like what you do and you're passionate about it. And I think that goes over some people's head, especially the people out there that is just worried about monetizing their social media. Okay, it's one thing to make money and to leverage your social media, but in order for you to build authentic relationships, I feel like that comes significantly from you making an impact on people's lives, from the way you can touch people, the way you can inspire them, motivate them, uplift them. If you can do that, then you can build an organic following, and that can that can convert into sales, whether it's more clients or building your business. But you want to focus on motivating and making people feel good.
Right.
Making people feel good.
And everybody's wearing a sign on their forehead, make me feel important. People want to be validated. They are. Yeah. They want to be heard.
Oh my
God. They want to be important. And that's why I said you want to make sure that you're interested and not interesting. And so a lot of people get on and like, I did this, I did that, I did this. Well, you better be interested in other people if you're building a people's business.
Yeah.
And so I try my best to be involved with the people that follow me. Like, where do you live? What do you do? And so that way they know it's just not me trying to get, but I'm actually trying to serve. And I think, that has helped out a lot. And so we talked a little bit earlier, like my followers came from me showing up consistently, sharing what I know for sure. And having like, almost 100,000 people, it's like, man, in a short period of time. It's not like I've been online for years. I was like, man, especially Facebook Reels, that is just exploding. So my advice to anybody, if you're not on Facebook Reels, you're missing out just right there alone, because their algorithm, they're still in beta testing. And so right now is the perfect time. Even if you are afraid, do it scared. Okay. Still do it. Just show up consistently. And most people can't commit to themselves. You commit to your job, you commit to your spouse, you commit to your children, but you don't commit to yourself. And so that's the first place that you have to start, is you. And most people won't participate in their own rescue. Even if you tell them what to do, you're like, you got to just do it.
Right.
Stop guessing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people just need that push. That's what I found by me networking with people, especially online and doing a Facebook group and just checking my messenger. Some people are like halfway there. They just need just that extra push, that extra motivation that you got this, keep being consistent. It's gonna come, but everything is just starting. And one of my main things this week, my main slogan is purpose over perfection. And just to get into that, a lot of people think I can't start unless it's perfect. I don't have it completely figured out, so I'm just going to prolong the process by not even getting started. So my main thing is, if your purpose is to build your business, if your purpose is to motivate others, if your purpose is to, I don't know, make $1 million, get a lot of sales, whatever your purpose is, you need to just start and be consistent. Keep going, because that's the only way you're going to build that organic audience. Which makes me want to go back just a second, because you said you build a following in a short amount of time. Now, what would you say the time frame was? Because I think I looked, you have about over 85,000 followers.
So now, you're right. It's like 87,000 followers on Facebook, but that probably, I was on Facebook Reels 6 months. And so in the 6-month period, that really grew to that amount. So it wasn't long at all. Now, I will tell you, the trick is I posted consistently every day. Mm-hmm. I didn't miss a day. So I think it was important. October when I got it in October of last year, November, that's when I got it. And I started posting every single day. I posted a Facebook Reels. I utilized their tools, their new features, all the things every single day until this day. And so that's how the following grew on there to that amount. And so less than 6 months?
Yeah, that's pretty good, and that's fast. Now, when you say every day, do you think are you posting once daily, generally speaking? Are you posting more than once, or what would you say?
People have different theories about that. I post once a day.
Okay.
So I post once a day, every day. One time on all my platforms, I post once every single day on all of them. And I repurpose the content, obviously. So whatever I'm posting on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels get it, as well as TikTok get it, and YouTube Shorts get it. So they all get the same content, but every single day I post one piece of content. And one of the things that I've learned is, of course, visuals. So visuals are more, I guess, you're going to have people stop the scroll if it's a visual content as opposed to a still post. And so I've learned that the short form video is the way to go right now. And short form video, anywhere between 7 and 10 seconds. If they watch it between 7 and 10 seconds, the algorithm says, oh, they loved it. We're going to show this person again. Now you got a new follower. Now you're in the face of more people, and you're online, every single day in their feed. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, I know that you're posting once a day. I've had people come on here and say, well, I'm posting 20 times a day. I'm like, what the hell? Like 20 reels a day. But honestly, they're maxing out on the program like 35,000 a month. But one thing I want to say for you, building your organic audience, you're not just posting one reel a day. I can tell you one thing, my notifications went off a couple times and said you were going live. So can you speak on how many times you go live? Because that's
Live.
another thing
Okay.
that's pulling people in.
That is. So my lives, I truly believe that staying in the face of the people. Okay. You gotta stay in the face of the people. So I go live at least twice a day. Sometimes I have scheduled days. But for the most part, I'm live every single day. Like on TikTok, since I'm growing out, I'm live every single day. I did a 90-day sprint where I went live every single day on TikTok and sometimes twice a day on TikTok. And then on Facebook, I have a schedule. I do a lunch and learn on Mondays and Tuesday. I'm live. And so almost every day I'm live. Out of the five, I probably out of the 7 days, I'm live at least 5, 6 days.
I want to say that that type of consistency definitely got my attention because of course I have a lot of people on my Facebook, but you're the one person that consistently pops up that you're going live. I know today you did something about should you utilize stories, like you're always going live, and the title is always something that will actually capture people in, which I think is important for that title to be on there so people can know what you're going live about. And also the topic that you choose is like very strategic, I want to say, because of course if you're on social media, 9 times out of 10, not 9 times, but we're in 2022, so more than likely someone is either an entrepreneur or content creator or trying to be an influencer or something
Right.
along those lines. So they're looking to build their social media no matter like what type of niche they're in or what they do exactly. Everyone wants to build a following. Everyone, it's like everyone wants to. So I think the topics that I've seen you go live on so far, I'm just like, she's smart. She's smart. You don't even have to jump on there for that long. You can just
Right.
say, "Bam, these are some gems." People like what you like what they heard, they learned something, they go follow you. So let me ask you something. How long would you say your lives are typically? Like, are they short or
They are.
attention
So
span?
my lives are usually between 20, max is 30. Like I'm
Okay.
looking at the clock. So 20 minutes, because 5 minutes I'm entertaining. I'm in the beginning, I'm like, hello, pretty people. At 5 minutes of just acknowledging. So five
Love
minutes of
it.
shout outs and what city do you live in? Like a lot of that time. And so a true training, a good 20 minutes of the meat and potatoes, because I want them to get something. And I already know if you learn something, you'll be back. I already know you'll share it. And so a lot of people share my content, which means now I'm in the face of their people. And so that allows me to have a bigger audience. And so when I'm going live, I have my topic of the day. I'm not the type of person that like, I can't flip it off the top of my head, but I actually want to plan for it. And I know what people are looking for because I know what I struggled with. And so I'm often like, what did I struggle with for 2 years online? Okay, I struggle
Mm.
with these things, and those things become my topic. And so it attracts my ideal prospects.
Yeah, I think that's super important that you said you actually put yourself in that mindset, or you take it, you take a step back. Because I think as we grow our businesses, sometimes we can, well, of course, our mindset definitely
It
shifts,
changes.
but we forgot where we came from and what we struggle with the most. And I think if you, the way you're going, that's how you're really getting people, because there's so many people out here trying to figure it out. And that was once in the place that you have already surpassed the level that you're surpassing. You're actually putting yourself in that past mindset and using it to draw people in, which is really, really dope. So that's just
Yeah.
awesome, because I think a
I,
lot of people will say, I don't know what to go live about. I don't know. A lot of people are just scared to actually go on live and interact with
I
their audience.
know. Well, to be honest, when in 2017, the first time I decided I wanted to go live, I actually recorded it first and then I uploaded it live, right? And so I was like, that was my first. I was like, I'll do it that way. And so, because I wanted to be, and I know people suffer with this, I wanted to be so perfect and articulate, and I wanted to enunciate, and I wanted to do that. And then I realized, well, I'm not going to be able to keep that up. I'm just going to have to be my authentic self. And so I'm just going to have to make the mistakes like a human being so people can relate to me. I don't want to appear too perfect because I'm not, right? And I want it to be where they feel like they can do it. And so it's difficult when you watch somebody, you're like, I can't do that. But you watch someone like, oh man, she struggled too. So I don't like it when people just, feel like, well, I was in radio and television, but social media is so different. Radio and television is playing like that. That's a script. Here, you're really having to do all your producing and content yourself and be yourself when you go online. So I really do wish more people would go on live, because that is going to bring you your ideal prospect. That's going to attract people to you. That is something that's needed for people to see what you have to offer. And one thing that I've learned also in going live is making sure that you are thinking about before you go live is, who's this helping? Like, who am I helping when I do this? Like you talked about earlier, is it valuable? Like, am I just going live to say I went live? But am I just sharing one nugget? Like, will they get one thing from me? And I try to take notes, and I'll write down, this is my point that I want to get across. This is what I want to share. This is what I want them to learn. And obviously, if they want more, then we have to go a little deeper and, into a course or whatever. But I share just enough that they win too.
And so you give them just enough to come back, just enough to follow, which I think is really important. I like the fact that you brought up, just because you were in radio, that doesn't necessarily mean that you had this social media thing down pat, because that was definitely a question that I had. Did it help set you up in any type of way? Do you feel like you're back?
Okay, I don't think that it's so different. Radio and television, definitely. I was in live. I worked for CNN, so I was in live news. So this is a little different group of people. I don't know. I was afraid to go live on social media like everybody else. And then one day I was like, well, you going to press the button?
Right.
You're going to press the button. What you going to do? And so I said, okay, I have everything together. Press the button. And once I did it, to be honest, if someone's listening, they want to know, I started in groups, and that made me more comfortable. I was in a group setting, and the only people that saw me were the people in the private group. But it allowed me to go live in the group first, and I started building that muscle, and I got stronger. And then I created my Facebook business page, and I go live over there every Tuesday at 1:30. And so because of that, I was like, okay, now I'm doing it every Tuesday at 1:30. A little thing that might help somebody is, I committed every Tuesday at 1:30 to go live on that business page. Committed. See, most people are interested in going live. They're interested in building a business. They're interested in monetizing. I was committed. So if I was at the doctor's office, I came out at 1:30. I'm at the doctor's office. I'm live. This is Jerusha. If I was at my son's school, and I came out the cafeteria, we had lunch. I was like, it's 1:30, it's lunch and learn. And so people started to recognize this girl, wherever she is at 1:30 on Tuesday, she's coming to give us some motivation and business tips. And so I made it a commitment that no matter, even if I'm in the car, traveling, on the plane, wherever, I'm like, 1:30, I can't be on the plane. I need to be wherever I am, because I have to do it. And that also increased my following, because I became this person that they could rely on, like it was a show. Oh, she's going to be there for sure.
And plus it feels more real, more authentic, because it's like, dang, first of all, like you said, it's more than just being consistent. It's committed. So you're committed to a day and a time. That way you can't really back out. I think a lot of people back out because they don't actually commit to it at all. Like me starting this YouTube channel, me starting a podcast, I might not have a big following right now, but it doesn't really matter. As long as I get some messages and saying impact, or I motivated others, that's all that I need to fuel me and to keep me going. but even if it hasn't grown the way I want to, it's still fresh and I still
Right.
committed to it. So I think sometimes people drop the ball too because they don't see the results that they want right away. So they're like, I fit, it's not working.
Right.
Let me just give up. And that's not how anything works. You always
It
have to
doesn't.
trust the process. So I just
Right.
wanted to bring light to that. For if you are planning on getting on live, do not get discouraged if you only have a few people watching. But I
Right.
guarantee you, if not only you be consistent, but you commit, especially set a date and time so people can know you're going to keep coming back and they can look for you. I think that's important because the followers will come, and the right followers, your target
Right.
audience will come as long as
Right.
you stay committed. So important.
It's funny
So
that you say that, committed and consistent, because when you're committed and they continue to see me show up every Tuesday at 1:30, then guess what happens? They start to trust me. And everyone knows,
mhm,
you've heard this before across the platforms. When people they know you, they like you, they trust you, they buy from you. And so
mm,
once I started being committed and consistent, then I was like, okay, now I can offer something if I have something to offer. And then they wanted it because I was giving so much. And I'll tell you a story about this consistency. I taught a training and I was saying, I want people to change their language and stop saying, oh, my problem is I'm not consistent. That's not true. You are consistent with what you want to do. You're consistently going to work every day. You're consistently,
mm.
calling your significant other. You're consistently scrolling on social media. You're consistently watching television. You're consistently eating or exercising or whatever it is. So you don't have a consistency problem. It's just not that important to you yet because you do what's important to you first. And
That's
so what's
true.
important is, oh, it's important that I scroll on social media. That's important to me. Oh, it's important that I speak to, my significant other. It's important that I call
Like
my
the
mom. So
shaver.
I don't have a consistency problem. None of us have it. It's just you have not made your business or going live or reel or TikTok, you haven't made it important enough
A
yet.
priority.
It's not a priority yet. It's not in the top 5. It's on the
Right.
list, but it ain't the top 5.
Mm-hmm. And you're
So
right,
yeah.
because social media, I feel like social media is something like once you put down, like if you just don't commit or if you just take a break, it's kind of hard because like you said, you're building relationships. So people want to first, they want to see the real you, they want to see authenticity, and they want to see you be committed and consistent. Because one thing I can say, I saw that you were a coach. So it's like, how are you going to coach me if you can't even show up when you say you're going to show up? How are you going to coach me when you're not committed? Like it
Right.
just, you're kind of like setting a tone, I feel like. And also people will buy into your trust, just like you said, which
Yeah.
is extremely true. So guys, if you just tuning in, I have Jerusha, correct? Because I got a little speech impediment. So let me know if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's Jerusha, right? Oh my God, every time I say that, it's like I jinx the live. You start freezing. But we're going over the 4 pillars of social media. So far, we have entertainment, we have education, we have entertainment, education, empowerment. And I'm just waiting for her to come back on for we can get the 4th one. We are waiting. And I see you're back. So what is the 4th pillar? Because we have entertainment, education, empowerment, right? She's going in and out, which is fine.
Okay. Yes. So I think we went over the last one is engagement. So entertainment, educate, okay, empower, and engage. Even though we
Mhm.
broke up a little bit, I want to make sure I heard you. So engagement. So you want to make sure with the engagement is so important that you acknowledge people. Like I said, for the first 5 minutes, I'm just acknowledging people that I see on the live. I'm calling names out that are familiar to me or people that are on my TikTok. I call them out. So you're asking your audience also questions. And most important, when someone comments or shares your content, you want to make sure you acknowledge that person for doing that because they could keep scrolling and not do it. And so it creates a greater level of trust compared to a like when somebody shares. Okay. So you want to respond to your audience. So engagement to me is probably, it's up there with the entertainment. And, because people often say, what's good content? But if you're really good at, engaging and making people feel good, they come back to you. Because I've seen some TikToks where people just love what the person is giving out. And so you got to make sure you're like, well, what city are you from? Well, what's your profession? You definitely have to make sure you get them to comment. And I do that a lot. Throughout my lives, I say hashtag pretty people. Throughout my lives, I'm like, give me an emoji if you understand, what I'm saying. It allows the algorithm to say, people are commenting on this. Let me show more people. I don't know if you know a lot about the algorithm, but what I know for sure is when you get a certain level of comments, it shows another group of people. So people often think that everybody's going to see their content that they're friends with. That's not true. So what we know is if you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, Facebook shows 10% of the 1,000, which is only 100. So whenever you post, initially, that post only goes to 100 people, even though you have 1,000 friends. 1,000 people are never going to see your post, okay? So they it means it went to the top of their saw it or not, right? And so now that you know that, then if they're commenting,
the internet is not on our side tonight, but just for me, yes. Yeah. Just for me to chime in, engagement is so important. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are scared to go live, because it's like, what if it's that awkward gap in time? So what if it's like just an awkward thing? You don't know what to say to your audience. You can always start reading the comments. You can always start engaging with people. I've had one of the last guests that came on here, and she was explaining how she also goes live every day. And one of the things she does, if she doesn't have anything to talk about, is just read the comments and start interacting. And someone might have a question about business, and she just immediately just starts to hop in and answer the questions. So even if she doesn't have a topic, she still commits to going live every day to engage with the audience that she has. But I like how Jerusha takes it an extra step and tells people to drop emojis, because then you're getting more comments. And she's right. Every time, just because you're friends with someone does not mean that they're going to see their notification that you went live. So I do feel like the more people that you can get engaged, whether it is to drop a comment or not, the more likely it is to increase the algorithm, and more people will see that you're going live. I'm glad to have you back. The internet is not on our side tonight.
I know, because they know it's good. I'm like, oh, the enemy knows this is good. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, thank you for that. So, basically, you want to make sure once you start getting those engagements, there's a certain number, boom, it's going to show the next 100 people. So now that's 200 people. And so as people are engaging, whatever the content is, especially if they're sharing, engaging, that's going to boost the algorithm in your favor. And people don't understand how that works. They just think people just come to the page. No, I'm on purpose saying, hey, do me a favor. If that was, good to you, hashtag helpful. That's on purpose.
Yes. And that, like you said, that increases the algorithm, because I've seen it less and less that I see when my friends go live. So I do think it's important to get people to engage. So what you said, doesn't have to be anything in particular. It could just be an emoji. It could just be drop a 1 if you agree, drop a 2 if you don't feel this way. It could just be something so small that get people to engage. So I think a lot of people get in their own way, or they overthink it and thinks it has to be something perfect or something that's just like really, really strategic. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It could just You can just hop on live and act like you're just having a conversation with your friends and your family, and that way you're being more authentic, and people are more than likely able to buy into you more instead of you just going on there and try to strategically do everything. Doesn't have to,
Right.
everything doesn't have to be calculated.
Right. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. And just you want to relax. I know it's, even now I'll get, nervous too. So you just want to relax and say, okay, what is it that I know for sure? And share what you know for sure. You can't go wrong with what you know. You
Right,
become the expert. You're the expert at that thing. So share that. And
right.
so, yeah, because you follow certain people for certain things. They're the expert. And so I'm sure you have a gift that you can share and say, hey, I'm good at, creating jewelry or whatever your business is. And you share tips about that, and people will follow for that reason.
Yes, I would definitely agree. And it's so crazy because this whole time I've been living by those four pillars of social media. Now, these four pillars that you have just came up with on your own, or is this something that like you adapted?
Well, it's so funny. I incorporated everything that I've learned from people, from the
Hmm.
courses and masterminds, and I was like, this is what I believe is happening. Is everybody is saying the same thing. We all kind of say it differently, but it's the same thing. You are showing up to entertain the people. It's still about the people. Oh my gosh, you're
Mm.
showing up to educate the people. You're actually empowering the people. And then once you engage with them, boom, you have unlimited opportunity because you have the four things that's necessary when you post. You're posting on purpose. Success is not by accident. So you're now posting on purpose. You're attracting, like you said, your ideal prospects. And so your target audience. I know who I'm
Hmm.
talking to. It's not like
Hmm.
I know who I'm talking. I know who's going to stop the scroll. It's no mystery because I'm not
Yes.
going to be talking about cooking. I don't, that's not my lane. So I'm in my lane. So yeah, I just heard so many different speakers and things like that. And I said, let me just put this together because this is what I see that everybody is doing. And I'm going to break it down so anybody can do it.
Yes, I love it. And guys, if you are just tuning in, I have Jerusha here. She is a coach, she is a podcaster, radio personality, and pretty much a jack of all trades.
Oh,
Today, we went
wish.
over an overview of the four pillars of social media, which was entertainment, education, empowerment, and engagement. So, if you are tuning in and you came for reals, of course, this can apply to Rose, but I did want her just to go into depth about her lives because I feel like you have to you kind of got you have to do different type of content. You can't just do reels all day. Yes, that does reach a wider audience, but I think you take it an extra step when you actually go on live because you're able to kind of engage and build that relationship. Yes, you can build a following just from reels, but can you build those relationships? And I feel like those relationships come more so from you going live or a messenger, like you said. It's more so like the one-on-one or like the more personable type of, I guess you would call it type of content. I guess live
Yes.
can be considered content. So I do think that's important. So if you post in reels, try going live, try committing to going live at least once a week because you do want to have just that other type of way to engage with people just besides just posting reels. But I want to
And
ask
that's
you,
what I did at first. To piggyback on what you just said, at first I was just once a week, every Tuesday at 1:30. That was it. When I first started, I was like every Tuesday 1:30. And then as I started to grow, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it twice a week. Okay, then I'm gonna do
mhm,
it 3 times a week. So it was a gradual process. And so I married the process, divorced the results. So earlier you said
mhm.
people stop because two people are following. When I started my business page and I was going live, I had like 20 people, right? And I was like, oh, okay, 20 people. And so it was like, I don't have thousands. This is 20. And so like I'm giving all this good energy and motivation. And so I just stuck to it. Like you said, I was just like, I'm gonna marry the process, divorce the results.
Yeah. Cause I just feel like it's so important to know that you got to choose your purpose over perfection. So you got to start somewhere. You have to start, and of course, everyone feels anxiety. Sometimes everyone can feel fear, but my thing is, when you feel that, what do you do? Do you push past it, or do you just succumb to it? Do you just, all right, I'm scared to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And that way you won't never know if it will work for you if you don't start or you don't try. So feel it and then push through it and commit.
Yeah, you
I
gotta,
think
yeah, face the
it's
fear. You
important.
gotta, you gotta
Head
make sure you
on.
face the fear. Yeah, head on. You like, this is what it is, because fear and faith can't reside in the same place. So you like, okay, do I
Mm,
believe or I don't believe? And so a lot of times, when you believe something, nothing can stop you. No one can stop you because you believe
mm.
it. So like you said, I'm a mom. And I'm a mom. No one can tell me I don't have the greatest boys in the world. I have the greatest boys in the world, right? I'm like,
Okay.
hashtag mama boys, hashtag mama boys. And if you speak badly over those boys, you got some problems. Mama Bear is
Yeah.
coming because I believe in them, their abilities. I
Hmm.
believe it, right? You got to have
Hmm.
that same belief over your business. You believe
Mm.
you have a service. You believe you could, your product is great. You believe it. You believe that. So no one can tell you differently. So that same belief that you have about your children and what they can do and what they can accomplish, you got to have that same belief about yourself and whatever it is that you're offering. That a no
Mm.
thank you will not stop you. Most people
Mm.
don't understand no just means next opportunity. Someone said,
Mm.
I get no's all day. No's my best friend. And no just means next opportunity. Okay, next opportunity. Next opportunity. Yeah,
Oh
I don't get it.
man. That is so true. One other things I want to ask you, since you have been able to build this following quickly, like you said, in under about 6 months. So, like, what returns have you seen besides the following? Like, has your business increased substantially? Like, what else benefits come with committing to social media?
I know. Okay, so obviously, you guys, I don't know if you know the in having my reels grow so fast, my inbox is filled with people wanting to either, work with me as their mentor or business coach. They want to learn more about my organization. I do have a course that's coming up in June. They were like, well, I want to take the business course. Like, I need a mentor, I need a coach. And so it has allowed obviously my monetary part to grow because now I
Hmm.
have more people asking me and I'm not chasing the people. And so
Mm.
now I'm in a position where I need an assistant to actually answer all of the questions and all of the messages in Messenger because I
Mm.
can't get to all of the messages. A lot of my reels are more of a curiosity post, and they're set up that way that you have to ask me the question. And so, yeah, so obviously,
I love
being in
that.
this, hmm,
I
you love
said I
that?
love that. Like a call to action,
It
pretty much.
is. My call to action is you definitely have to find out more by talking to me, which allows me to build a relationship, the rapport, to get to know you, to have that one-on-one conversation. And so that's all happening in Messenger. And I think
Very
people
smart.
think it's not just the posting, it's me actually building the relationship and going down in Messenger and finding out more about the person. And so,
Hmm.
yeah. So I would
Yeah.
definitely say me being able to get on Facebook Reels has changed my business so much that more people are asking me that I've never had these many that this number of people want to know and be a part of whether it's my course or my business or whatever I'm offering.
Right, which I think is so great that we do have reels now. So regardless if you're in the program or not, reels still have the capacity to reach a wider audience and to grow your following organically. So even if you're not in a Reels Play bonus program, even if you're not monetizing, if you're listening, if you are an entrepreneur, you should be creating content anyway. You should be trying to build a organic audience in order to build your business. So Reels is still a great way, a great opportunity, money or no money, because it can still leverage and balance out in another way, whether it's more clients or whether it's more customers. It's still
Yes,
you're still monetizing in some
that's
type of
still
way.
right. And that's
And I
how I've
think
been
that
able
goes
to
over some
monetize.
people's head, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I've been able to monetize just more clients, just more people wanting to purchase, more people wanting to get in my programs. And so, yeah, that's how I've been able to do it. But I just think once a person gets consistent in their reels, if you're going to be posting reels, and most of those reels, you're not even talking, like you're just imitating something. But
Right.
you're educating and entertaining at the same time. It doesn't have to be that difficult where you feel like you have to talk all the time, unless you are, like you, the creator. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
mimicking someone, you could still do that, and it could be a business one. You just, use
Right.
somebody else's words.
It just gives you like the range, the freedom range to be creative, because you have skits. You can make your own skits. You have voiceovers, like you said, where you're mimicking, but you can like spin it for it to be something that's in the direction of your business. Like you can do duets. Like there's so many type of reels that you can do. So just pick what you're comfortable with, at least to start. At least you can start somewhere, because it's money there. It's money to be made, and it's
It
relationship
is.
to be built, more importantly, just by you reaching a wider audience and you being creative, you being authentic, entertaining, educating, empowering, and engaging. Oh, I got these 4 pillars down pat.
You got it down. You got it down back
These
today.
my 4 pillars. These my 4 pillars
I
now.
know. Yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah, I mean, yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, I hope I answered everything, because I want to make sure that people take something away. A lot of times, what I give it on my lives is I give all this great information. People just hoard information. They're like, I got all the information, but they don't implement. And I say this
Yeah.
every time: information without implementation is just information. And so we
Mm.
want to make sure that we start implementing, even if it's the smallest thing. I'm going to do one reel a week. And so let me say this too: in doing your reels, don't feel like, I know I said I release one every day. I want to use the correct language. I don't
Mhm.
actually create it every day. I create 3 and 4 reels at a time, and then I release a reel every day. So I'm
Mhm.
actually not creating every day.
So
And
you
so,
keep them
like
in the
you,
drafts, right?
yeah, I'm batching them together, and I don't change my outfit. And I know some people say change your shirt 3 4 times. I actually, you might see me do one after this right here and this, and it'll be 2 or 3 reels that I'll go ahead and get done, and I just save them in my draft, so that way you're ahead of the curve and you're planning for success. And so,
Yeah.
because if you don't have a plan, you work for somebody who has a plan. And so you want to
Mhm.
just go ahead and plan those reels, so you don't feel, a lot of people, you feel like, I work a traditional 9 to 5. Now I got to do a reel every day. Just batch it together where you're
Do
doing two,
your
three,
reels
four at
at
one
your
time.
9 to 5. Listen,
Okay, right?
I would say do your reels at your 9 to 5.
Right.
I've seen plenty of people do that. But I do think, batching is important to save time. And especially if you're really going to commit to something, you have no excuse, because you already have at least a couple saved. So even if you're having like a super crazy day, super busy day, you want to always have some in the stash. You want to always have some in the stash.
Yes.
So if you are just joining, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We are about to open up for a live Q&A. Also, subscribe, because I bring a special guest every Tuesday on the show to drop gems. Because remember, what works for one person might not work for the next. So you always want to take notes, and you want to still put the pieces together, figure out what works for you. But Jerusha here has brought a lot of value, and I just love the way that you laid that out. I mean, there's no reason why someone shouldn't be taking something away from this live. And hopefully feels challenged to actually get on their own live now.
Right.
And
Right.
step outside of their comfort zone, because a lot of times you are holding yourself back by just not taking that leap of faith. Yes. All right.
And I
So I
think
see.
society, when we grew up, I'm open for questions. I think when people say you want it to be perfect, we're actually, you want just progress. You know, if
Mm,
you just want progress, you don't want perfection.
yeah.
You just want progress. And so perfect is not the best word, for people to strive for. You just want to strive for progress. I'm doing it, and then you'll get better over time.
I like that. I like that. Progress, purpose, not perfection, because nobody's
Correct.
perfect. My edges are not perfect right now, guys. I'm still committed to showing up on time to bring this value. Like, everything doesn't have to be perfect all the time. I feel like the main thing is to show up. And if you show up as yourself, at least people will know that you're a real person. Because I've had people tell me, well, I didn't even know if you were, real. You look picture perfect. And I'm like, what? You don't see my edges right now. I'm going through something. Like, I go through things just like you guys go through
Right.
things. I can't always show up, with a full face of makeup and my hair always
Right.
laid to God. Sometimes I still just gotta show up just for you guys can see that. No, I can't always be perfect, and I still gotta show up too. Because once you commit to doing something, you gotta
You got to do
roll
it.
with it. You gotta roll with
I
it.
agree. I agree. That's the best thing. Yes, I agree. You just got to show up. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so important. But I see that we have Ty here. She asks, "Were you always posting once a day, or did you go down to that after building a following?"
No, I always started out posting one to my in my teaching. I teach 1 to 3 times a day. So when I started in 2017, I said, okay, 1 to 3 times a day I'm gonna post, but every single day I posted, every day, whether it was a quote, whether it was me, whether every single day I posted. And I made sure, obviously, the post was relevant, it was valuable to somebody else. And another thing that I find that people don't do is they don't go to other people's page and engage. A
Mhm.
part of you growing is you going to somebody else's page, 10, 20 people a day, loving on their pages. I call it loving on their pages, whether you're liking, commenting, leaving a full out 4 sentences, 4 words or more. That's a trick right there. You
Yeah.
leave 4 words or more. You want to make sure you're leaving those 4 words on other people's pages. And guess what happens? It's called the law of reciprocity. It's going to come back to you. But most
Mm.
people just post and hope somebody see their stuff. But you have to choose 10, 20 people every day and go love on their pages as well.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So make it your business to engage with other creators or entrepreneurs on your social media every day. I think that's good, and well, that's one of the reasons in my Facebook group I have like the daily engage post, because that the people want people to engage with them, but it's like, please return the love back, and that way we
Yes.
all can grow and glow together. So I do think that's important, and I love that. So please show the love back, because it comes around full circle. It
It
definitely
does.
does. That was
It
a
does.
good question. Hold on. I had one more question too. What was your most viral reel? What was your most viral?
Wasn't even one that I thought was good. I had 3.1 million people see this reel, and I don't know why. It was the one, the challenge where people were doing the sit up thing like this. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember. It was one of those challenges, and I got down. And see, the thing is, when people see you like this, they don't think you can do the dances or the
Are you talking about like
exercises.
the push up one? And they was
Yes,
like
the
the
push up
push up.
one.
Oh, and then you had the
The,
push up that yeah.
and you had to
Okay,
push
yeah,
up
yeah,
like,
I got
okay, I
you.
did that, but I did a spin on it, and my words were based around my business. So everything
Mhm.
I post is still based around my motivation, inspiration, and business tips. So the words above was about my business, but I was doing the actual, challenge that people were doing. And so
Mhm.
that one, I didn't understand. I was like, man, that one got a lot of views on Facebook Reels. I couldn't even know that. I'm like, I've done some really good ones, and this is not the one I would have chosen. So I think that
Yeah,
sometimes you don't know which one is going to be the one, but if you're doing them every day, they will grow. Like,
yeah.
because I put that same one on Instagram Reels, and I think it only did like 3,000. I was like, but this one did 3 million. So it just depends.
Mm. Yeah, 3 million is really good, and you just never know when it's going to take off. And that brings me to another question before we hop into you guys' questions. Still drop them in the chat. But have you noticed that some of your reels take off later, like weeks later, or maybe like even a month later?
Yes. So what happens is, going back to the comments, what'll happen is, how that happens is, I did this reel maybe, I don't know, 2 months, and now it's back as like it's the number one reel. People are commenting on the reel and asking for more info on the reel. And so that's the algorithm. When people comment, it triggers again to show more people. And so, yes, you can create something and 2-3 months later, it's now a #1 reel for you.
Yeah, which is crazy because I've seen views drop, but then I've also seen like, a couple weeks later, it's like, dang, what is this? Like 20,000
I'm
likes.
like, this was bad.
When that happened overnight, and it definitely did. Like, it's crazy. And you're just like, wow, they like this, so it's crazy. But it gives you like, all right, so if this one went viral, try another one like that, and then try another one, and then see if that's like what your main thing is, what people come to
your niche
for the most. Yeah. All right, then we have Victor here. Hey, Victor. He said, my phone is full of random videos I do when things happen to me, and then I compile later to post. Okay, so back to batch posting, which I do think is so beneficial. That's what my phone is full of too, because if not, it's just like I can't. I could make a reel every day, but sometimes, honestly, working from home and being an entrepreneur, sometimes I'm just kicking back. I mean, I brush my teeth, I'm clean and everything, but all the time I don't get dolled up, or I might just be in my pajamas all day, and I don't want you guys to see me in my pajamas every day. Because, sometimes I be in tunnel vision. I'm in tunnel vision. I don't focused. But I will change my shirt sometime when I batch. I'll make like 3 videos, and then I'll change. And then I'll make another 3 though, so I don't just make one.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That way I can have like more than a couple days. I can have like a week or something worth, which is always, better, because I just don't know when my edges are going to work with me or against me. So.
Right. That's true.
Entrepreneur, self-employed mother says, my following has slowed down, but I'm remaining hopeful. That's not particularly a question, but I understand what you're saying, because a lot of people have been expressing concern on their views dropping, especially if you're in the program. It's like you're fighting for views out here.
Is it on Facebook? Have your followers going down, or is that what we're saying?
Well, I'm in both the Instagram and the Facebook program, and I've been in both programs for over 6 months. So I would say by me being in the program, I have seen my views drop, especially on Instagram. And now I'm noticing like on Facebook, it's like struggle century on Facebook, especially soon as my personal page got into the program. I was doing like the best on my personal page, and I was like, why is my business page is only able to make 35K? If my personal page was invited, I would be racking up. And then as soon as I got invited, it's like my views went but that just means I got to go back to the drawing board. Definitely doesn't mean I give up, because I have to post content anyway. Being an entrepreneur, so it's not just for the money, but in order for my algorithm and my views to go back up, I do feel like, okay, it's time to go back to the drawing board. It's time to double up. It's time for a new commitment. Of course,
it is. Yeah, that's why I put myself on the 90-day sprint. When January 1, I did a 90-day sprint from January 3rd actually to April 3rd, 90 days live straight on TikTok to build that audience. So I had to do something different to increase that following. So yeah, you just got to go back to the drawing board, but you don't stop.
I like that you said that, because sometimes people think going back to the drawing board is only doing like the same thing. They'll be like, oh, okay, I'm posting 2 or 3 times a day. Let me post 4 or 5 or 6. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to double up with what you're doing. Maybe you should be going live. Maybe you should be committing to going live, because there's so many other ways to draw people in. That way you're going live, people following you from going live, then people are seeing your reels because they're already following you. So it's just like, okay, sometimes you gotta stop doing what you always done and push yourself, because it's usually the thing you're scared to do the most that will help you grow the most. So I can tell you that right now, if you're scared to go live, that's probably why them views drop.
It's true. It's true. The thing that you don't want to do, because I didn't want to get on social media initially, but I was like, okay, I guess I got to get on. And that is what propelled my business online. And now I can never go back. Now I just like, Yeah,
It's like you never know unless you try it. And the worst thing to do is to allow fear to stop you from doing something, because then you'll regret it. You'll look back at it like, damn, whereas, damn, I probably could have made that 35K a month if I would
right.
have just decided to start going live on my page organically. Because a lot of people are in the program. A lot of people are doing reels now. If you don't know, they made it global for 150 country. So that's another reason why views are dropping, because there's so many other people that
That's
have
correct.
access to do reels now.
Right,
So it's
right,
like, all right, everyone's doing reels because it's easy. You don't have to get on live. You don't have to feel that anxiety. Like,
right.
so everyone and their mother's doing reels. We got babies out here with pages doing reels, but everyone is not going live. So you always got to think of it like that. Okay, like, let me get ahead of the game by actually going live, or by doing something else, which I think is important. Freebie,
Right.
anything. I want to ask you that before we jump off. Have you ever did like a freebie for your business in order, like, for you to keep building that following?
Yes. So I'll offer, like, it'll be coming up. So my course is a paid course. So right before the course, I'll offer a free class. And
Okay.
so I give free classes every day almost, but I'll offer a more intimate setting in a Facebook group, and I'll do a particular subject, and
Mm-hmm.
it's free. And I'll just find out what people are most interested in learning. And I'll do a training for like an hour in a private Facebook group. And so then that way, I get the audience. Obviously, I'm capturing their information as well, because I get the email list going, and so I offer trainings for free all the time. At least once every other month, I'll offer like a free training outside of the free trainings that I do every day for 20 minutes.
Mm, I think that is so important. That's what made me ask you that. I'm actually working on my course too, and I'm actually taking a course, and they talk about that a lot, like to do some type of freebie, or maybe like
You
a
got to get a
discounted
freebie.
ebook or something like that, in order for people to be like, hey, well, I'm interested, but I'm not sure. Because people can come
Right,
across your social media all the time and be like, hey, well, she's interested. She seems cool. She seems down to earth. She seems authentic. She seems smart. But it's like, do I really want to
I don't know.
buy into you yet? I need a little
Right.
sweet something. That's
I need
like going
some milk.
to that's like going to one of like the Panda Express places, or like those
And they
places
give
where
you a
you're at the mall
sample.
and they give you a little sample. You're like, let me taste that. All right, I'll take an entree of that. It's like, give me a little
Right.
taste. we
So
all
yes,
we all
I
like a
recommend it.
little something.
Yeah, I took a course, the same thing, and that's how I started doing it. They was like, always offer something free, because there's always somebody on the fence. They're not sure yet. And so
Yeah.
I also, in my freebie, I have testimonials. I have people who have taken my course come in and say their experience and what they learn and all the things that they gained from being a part of it. So yeah, I always think you got to offer something free. Even in my 20 minutes, I'll say, hey, if you want this free download, make sure you click the link in my bio, and they're getting something. If you want my 10, like the 4 pillars we went over, I'll say, hey, if you want
Mhm.
those 4 pillars in a free PDF, make sure you click the link and you'll be able to have that. So I'm always offering it to them, so that they feel like, okay, I have something tangible and I've learned something. So then they're open to more when I do offer the course.
Right, which I think is super, super important. Have you ever done a giveaway? Like, have you ever
Um,
did like a sort of like contest type of thing?
the only giveaway that I did a one-on-one training for somebody.
Oh, well,
So I
that's
don't
a
do one
great
on
giveaway.
Yeah, I don't do one-on-ones, and it's always in a group setting. And
Hmm.
so they had to take the course, and then after the course, I did a one-on-one training. One of the people said, okay, whoever does this in the course, they get one-on-one after the course. And so I did that.
I love that. I love that. So, guys, if you have any questions, you got about 30 seconds to drop them in the chat before we hop off, because we've been on here for a good hour and in 15 minutes dropping nuggets and gems for you guys. So I hope you took notes. And if you are just tuning in, you definitely have to catch the replay.
Yes.
We went over the 4 pillars of social media. If you want to do a quick recap right now, Jerusha, please feel free.
Yeah. Yeah. So the 4 pillars, what I've learned and when I got on social media was some of the things that I needed to immediately implement. And I call them the 4 E's. So you want to entertain people. You want to make sure you're doing your reels, your TikToks, your live, your family, your fun, your activities, some type of entertainment. Okay. And then the next E is educate. You want to share some type of value. If you have a product, this, teach them what it does, not what it is. I see a lot of people saying, this is what it is. Tell me how it's benefiting me. And so valuable information to your ideal client that helps them understand what you offer. And then the third E is empower, which is my lane, means to encourage others. I think that's probably the biggest one. The more you encourage other people, a lot like what Tanae is doing is saying, yes, you can go live. You don't have to be perfect. And so highlight your customers, highlight your team, highlight the people you're working with. I highlighted Tanae today. I'm like, highlight other people, empowering them. And the last E is engagement. You want to make sure you're engaging with your audience at all times. I'm calling out names. I'm saying, hey, what can I answer for you? I'm making sure I love on their pages. I'm big on loving on people's pages, depositing into other people before I get a withdrawal. And so I'm always loving on their pages before asking for something in Messenger. And so those are the 4 E's that have helped me grow my business. So when I'm posting, I'm thinking of those 4 things. Is this post doing one of these things? And that's how my audience grew.
I love it. And if you haven't caught that part, she grew her audience to about 87,000 followers on one of her Facebook pages in less than 6 months, just by posting reels and going live consistently, committing to going live. I'm sorry, I gotta stop using consistently when you took it another notch because you committed. Right. Committed is when you set a day and a time and you still show up. I feel like consistent is, saying you're gonna show up, but you're not sure when and where,
You're
but
right.
You are definitely committed. Your energy is so bubbly. So if you're tuning in right now and you're wondering why people are not following, you're wondering why you don't have no messages to follow up on, you might want to check your energy because energy is contagious. And honestly, that could be like the reason that could make or break why someone follows you or doesn't follow you, to be honest. Because I'm an energy person. If you don't have good energy, I don't want to see your content. No, seriously. And not even necessarily, not always necessarily that, because I'm also an empath, so I understand that some people need that extra push, they need that extra motivation. Then maybe not necessarily a negative person, they might just be having a bad day and be drained. So I do give leeway, but if you're always like your energy is off, then it's a no-go. But of course we're all human and no one's perfect, so put that disclaimer out there. You're allowed to have bad days around me.
Right. You are allowed to have bad days. Yes, people say that all the time. Yeah, you're right. Energy is transferable. And so I'm trying to stop the scroll as much as possible. And I'm trying to, make sure I talk to my ideal prospects when I'm online. So energy is everything. You're right. You just scroll past if you don't feel it, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like, let me keep, because social media is about attention span. I know when I get on social media and I actually consume content instead of being a creator, like when I'm going on there to either look for the news or maybe scroll through my feed, I love when I see, motivational stuff. And that's the same thing that triggers for a lot of other people, making them feel good or making them laugh. So when you create content, you should keep that in mind. Am I making that person feel good? Or am I making that person laugh? Or am I teaching that person something?
Correct.
And I feel like if you're going through that thinking process in your mind when you're creating content and you're committing and doing it consistently, then you are bound to hit a sweet spot one day. Might not come when you want it. So don't give yourself, I don't know. Yes. Don't give yourself a time frame. That's what I want to say. Don't give yourself, all right, 3 months. If this don't take off in 3 months, I'm done. Like,
right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. There, yeah. I have this thing with, I said, I will until. And so
Mm,
I will until I become, whatever it is that you want to become, or
mm.
how many followers, or wherever you want to be in this. I will until it happens. You don't put a deadline on, in 3 months it's over. You just continue.
It's over. It's done. If I didn't make no money doing my reels this month, it's done. Like no. Like no, but you'll be surprised. A lot of people think like that. A lot of people struggle with staying motivated. So one of my last
Motivation
questions.
is a daily process. I think who said that?
Mm,
Jim Rohn or whoever. Yeah, you got to watch every day. You got to get motivated every day.
yeah, which brings me to one of my last questions for you. What keeps you motivated?
That's a very good question. I'm the person, music, I have to
Mm.
jump around and put on some, hot girl summer music. And
Okay.
and so yeah, I love, Miami music. And so I have to get myself excited in the morning. And I said, my why is my boys. I truly want to leave a legacy. And so the thought of not leaving it scares me.
Mm,
And so yeah, that scares me to death. Like I don't want them to not have, the type of trust I want them to have. And
right.
so that keeps me motivated. I know for some people, their children, that doesn't motivate them. It motivates me to be like, oh man, I'm gonna leave you so much. It's just ridiculous. And
Right.
then
I'm sorry, it's a little questionable when I don't know if you have kids and your kids don't motivate you. It's kind of like a red flag, like red flag, red flag. I'm gonna proceed with caution because like what's going on right there.
yeah, because some people like, well, no, it's not my kids. But for me, it is, my boys, and really leaving a legacy for my family for generations and generations. And I think it
Mm,
was Steve Harvey or someone said it best. They said, do you know your great great grandmother's name or great 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 grandfather's name? And you don't know their name because they didn't leave you anything. The
mm,
Hiltons know their great great grandparents' name. The Waltons of Walmart, they know their great 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 parents' name. And so they know the lineage because they left them something. We don't even
mm,
know, we just know the great, and we don't know the
mm.
great great great.
That's why
And
we
so
all
I
on
want them.
ancestryreport.com now trying to figure it out. We
Right,
looking up
right. We got to
anything.
go figure it out. We're like, okay, we don't know who they are. They
Mm,
probably did great things. We don't know who they are. And so I want them to know my name, and I want them to know it came from, Jerusha. And so yeah, so that's what keeps me motivated. But I have to in the morning. I have to listen to. I love motivational speeches. I have to
mm,
that. I don't know. I love listening to different people. We all follow some of the same people, whether it's ET or whoever you follow. I have to have that in my ear at all times. It just gets me excited. And then of course, like I said, when we're in the car taking my son to school, we're always listening to whether motivation or we're listening to music.
right. I love that. And I'm the same way. It's all about what you consume. So what you listen to and what you watch. And anytime I feel like I'm struggling or I might not feel uplifted, because the people that empower and motivate the people the most, of course, we still need some type of
We
industry
still
exchange too. And that comes from podcasts. Listen to a lot of YouTube, like Millionaire Mindset, a lot of stuff that I feel like, okay, this is challenging the way I think. This is keeping me motivated. This is keeping me focused on my business and not just watching Love and Hip Hop or Jocelyn's Cabernet or anything like that. That is not going to help me
it's
grow.
not.
And that might not even make me feel like good or anything. Like I'm really conscious. I feel like you have to be conscious. You have to be mindful. And if you're not feeling good about yourself, you need to start like evaluating what you're watching and what you're listening to,
Correct.
because that plays an important role, especially if you don't have a lot of supportive people around you, or you just haven't found like that support tribe, or even if you do, you might need a little bit of extra. So even when I'm doing business stuff, I'm listening to motivational
Me
podcasts
too.
or millionaire stuff, because I'm gonna be a millionaire, so I need to listen to people that
Yes.
are and figured it out, because it's important to me also for generational wealth to leave something, and for my great 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 grandkids to actually know who I am. And then like today, Cosby, she was the one
That's
that broke
right.
generational curses. She was the
That's
one
right.
that broke generational wealth. We don't know who came before, but we
Right.
look at her, which is important. I
Right.
feel like extremely important. So of course that is one of my whys too, and the reason why I stay motivated. And I feel like that's why I'm just like, if you got kids and they don't motivate you, like what's going on? Like
I
what's
don't
going
know.
on? Like where's the
Yeah.
disconnect?
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It
Are
motivates
they
me.
bad as hell? I mean, can your kids really be that bad as hell? I don't know.
Right. Right. They're not that bad. I mean,
Which is crazy.
well, this has been so nice. I want to say thank you so much for even asking me. I don't take it lightly to be on other people's platforms. I just want to make sure that we get it and people to understand that, anybody can win. And
Mhm.
most of us, we just choose not to, because we're afraid or
Mhm.
we're scared or whatever the reason is. And I just want to say that you can do anything that you choose. There's so much room at the top. It's the bottom that's overcrowded. And so when I
Mhm.
when I show up, I try to say, okay, we are winning. And that's what the pretty people are. We win. WIN. You're gonna do whatever is necessary to win. And that requires you to show up every day for yourself. And so I
Yeah.
want to say that I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Anytime, anything that you need, let me know. And obviously, we're going to be trying to work together on some things I want to ask you about. But yes, thank you to your
I
audience
just,
and
I
let
just
me know if
want
they
to thank
got value.
you. I just want to thank you because you are a totally dope person. When I kept saying motivation in business, I said, "Who the hell is this?" Dang, she got it. She got it together. I mean, you are committed. Committed is an understatement to how your notifications pop up. But some people that I've been following forever, their notifications don't pop up. So you are doing something right. And you just giving a lot of value out here by what you're doing. So I just want to thank you for coming on the show. And I will have all of her social media handles in the description. So if you're catching a replay, it will be down below. And do you want to shout out any of like your radio podcast stuff?
Yes,
Or
well,
where we can follow you?
the cool thing is my mother shares my name Jerusha, but I'm everywhere Jerusha at Jerusha. So follow me on Instagram. It's at Jerusha, JERUSHATR. TikTok is at Jerusha. And so yes, my YouTube is Jerusha. So it's all over the place. It's my name, JERUSHER. And like I said, I am offering my course, the 3-day ride in June. So if you want to be a part of that, you can get some more details. But yes, I'll share my link tree with you, and then we can just go from there.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And if you are tuning in, please tune in next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another special guest. I hope you took your notes and I hope you got some value out of here and you're going to challenge yourself to go live this week. But I just want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. Hope we answered your questions. And if you're in the group and you didn't get your question answered, I will be in the group. So just stay tuned. But other than that, gotta go. See you guys later. Bye.